Hello internet, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Tori and today I have a long-awaited video talking about all the books I read in 2025. And now that it is, you'll probably end up seeing this in May. I know you'll end up seeing this in May. I feel like even though that is not ideal, this really like I will be more raw with my opinion, because if I don't remember the book, I really don't remember it. Time has passed, you know. Let's jump into it. So my goal last year was to read 30 books. Unfortunately, I did not hit that, but girl, I tried. I got to 26 and I'm very proud of my 26. One is a did not finish, but I am counting it as read because I did my time with that book. Obviously, we'll talk more about it when we get to that. But we're going to just go in chronological order. I have mostly everything still on this list besides the did not finish book. It's in a different pile to be sold. Right? Am I selling it? Or did I just... I think I literally sold it for like $2. Like, I just wanted it out of my life, right? So first up to bat, we do have some, I do have some stories from my Kindle, and I wanted to, and I'll have the first one, so I'll have to put a photo up here. So the first book I read in 2025 was I Want to Break Off This Engagement, So I'll Play the Villainess. This is a volume 1. It was a Kindle Unlimited series, and it was a manga style story. Overall, I rated it 3 stars. It's, as much as I do like a kind of corny story, this one felt too immature for me. Definitely would be good for a teen read, not a young adult that wants more depth and analysis. I read that on January 6th. And then next I finished my first physical book, and that was The Seventh Time Loop. This is novel 2. I hate that on the book, on the website it says volume 2, on here it says novel 2. Same thing. I really do like this series. I actually rewatched this series recently on Crunchyroll, and she's living her 7th life, and she's partnered with the guy who has killed her, or his actions have killed her multiple times in previous lives, aka this man always starts a war, and now she's engaged to him. So this one is really cute, really interesting. I really like their dynamic, because yeah, it's just interesting. And then with all her lore of her previous lives, I think I have volume 3 and 4, but I haven't read them yet, so hopefully I read them in 2026. So I rated this 4 stars. I really like this story. When it comes to stories I really like, if that specific volume is like a favorite, read it in one day because I didn't want to put it down, it gets 5 stars. Otherwise it gets 4 stars. I just want to clog up my 5 stars because I enjoy a series. I finished this on January 22nd, 2025. Love. Next, I read a Kindle series, and it is How I Swapped Places with the Villainess, Beat Up Her Fiance, and Found True Love. Now, this one, I think I've read before. I think I read it in my piracy days. I was reading a lot of webtoons in 2020, 2021. I would buy a lot of them, and then I ended up pirating them because I was spending way too much money, and that was like a bad issue for me in my early 20s. And this one was good. I rated it 4 stars, but I think I already read it, so I'm not continuing with this series because I already read it, and it's not the type that I feel sucked in to reread. So I read that on February 4th, 2025. And now this series was a little crazy. So the next 3 books, I only have 2 of them to show you, but the next It's called I'm Only a Substitute Consort, but the Emperor Won't Leave Me Alone. And I read volume 1 and volume 2 and volume 3. Like I said, this was a Kindle Unlimited series. So, actually was it? No, I guess I had money because I spent some money on it. But yeah, they were Kindle series and I read them all in one day. I read them all February 16th. The first one I rated 4 stars, but the second and third volume I did rate 5 stars. I did really enjoy that, surprisingly. Yeah, I am a sucker for the like medieval dynasty type eras, I guess it's how to explain it. Like, I love kingdoms, dukedoms. I don't care. English, Japanese, Chinese, I'll eat it all up. Don't care. I don't know. I just find it so fascinating reading about those time periods and then seeing how characters break the molds. I also just adore. So, next was a, what do you call them? A printed webtoon is what I refer to them as because they are fully colored webtoons. This is The Villainess Turns the Hourglass. This is another one that I read previously online, and then when they started printing it in person, I forget if I got this one on sale. I don't tend to buy these full price because they are 20 bucks a piece, and like at the end of the day, it is a comic. I love it, but I don't like paying $20 for a comic, you know. So I have decided also that I don't think I'm going to continue the series yet. Maybe in the future, but for right now, I'm not going to try and pick up more of this. I do really like this series. I did rate it a 4, but these are pricey, so I need to like actually be picky. So I didn't realize what day I finished this, so in my notes it only says March 2025. Next, these 3. Well, the first 2 were just bad, and I wiped them out of here. I did not want them in my Kindle. The first 2 are the Takemiya Family and the False Fiance. And I read number 1 and number 2 because they were both really short, and the whole series is on Kindle Unlimited. The first volume I rated 3 stars, and then the second volume I rated 2 because I was so confused by the first story. I don't remember how many pages it was, but it felt like it was only like 5 pages, right? There's some underage shenanigans there. The false fiance is underaged. So yeah, it was done. I read both of those on March 20th, 2025. And then the next one was cute, but it just wasn't for me. I remember it wasn't black and white, but it was just, it wasn't hitting it. It's called Shotgun Divorce. I'll Get Pregnant and Out of Your Life as Soon as Possible, Volume 1. I rated it 3 stars. Like I said, I read it on the 20th and finished it on the 20th. It was whatever. Like, it had cute moments, but it's something that, like, wanted to be a slow burn, but just wasn't working out. And I did not want to sit around and continue. And then the next one I read on my Kindle was Didn't You Say You Hate Me? The Troubled Dotting Marriage Life of a Strange Duke, Volume 1. I rated it 3 stars. I also read it on March 20th. I guess March 20th. I was just reading everything. And it was... I remember it being weird, but I don't remember why I didn't like it. I think I didn't like the strange Duke, but like, I don't think he was strange. I think he was creepy. He gave me the ick. So that's why that one wasn't finished. Next, we're going to see a lot of them because I read a lot this past year. We have a lot of Snow White with the red hair. My favorite series, the first 2 seasons are animated, so I have been pretty much picking up where the animation has left off, and I love it so much. So the 8th volume I rated 4 stars, and I read this on April 4th, 2025. Then The 9th volume, I rated 5 stars. This one is so good. I really like the plot that was in this story. Rue and Shirayuki are like sent to a royal run lab. I should say for premise, these two both work as like a court, not apothecary. Oh my god, what is the term in this show? A court herbalist. They're both court herbalists, and they get sent up to like a different part of the kingdom, which is where like all the scholars are. And these two crack the case. These two crack what was going on and like save a disaster. When he is the youngest court herbalist in history, and she is like his little, I think she's technically his apprentice. Kind of. They work well together. But yeah, them two and their dynamic is so cute. I love them. This one is gonna leave my life after this video. I'm gonna go put it in a little library box up the street. This is The Spring Duchess by Gillian Eaton. I rated 3 stars. And I finished this May 18th. My issue with this and the other books in the series is that they're all dukes. It's all dukes and duchesses. Whatever, fine, like I told you, up my alley. The issue is, for me, they're all too similar in premise, and it's kind of giving like internal misogyny. And I believe these were written in like 2009-ish. I could be wrong. I'll fact check myself on the screen. But there is a striking issue where the male partner is abusive. Verbally, I don't remember if they were abusive physically, but I remember verbally they were abusive. Which is like, I get it. Everyone has their own kink. Not shaming here. Well, I would never. My issue is that all of the duchesses have the wallflower type trope, kind of. Or if they're not like a wallflower and very timid, like I believe this one was very like outspoken wild child, but then immediately domesticated. And I was like, why are we doing that? I don't remember exactly the last point I made. But yeah, I had an issue with the books where they just all started feeling samey. And I couldn't. I just couldn't. I don't even know how to word it. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Next, this one was a surprise favorite. I got this for $2 from Ollie's. This is Cursed Princess Club by Lamcat. This is one of them other like printed web novels. I can't believe it started curving. It's actually from Webtoons. This is a perfect teen read. Immature but so good and very funny. I rated this one 4 stars. I read this on June 23rd. I did find the 2nd volume out in the wild, so I will hopefully be reading that soon. Really enjoyed that. Next, this one I love, and then I found out it's getting turned into an anime adaptation, so hopefully they do it good. This is Though I Am an Inept Villainess, Tale of the Butterfly Rat Body Swap in the Maiden Court. The villainess body swaps with the maiden, or the good-hearted character. So now her soul is in this body and her soul's in this body. And I'm very intrigued to see how the anime does it. I rated it 4 stars. I do want to collect more of these, but I haven't been able to find them physically out in stores. I try not to buy books online because I know I will buy way more than I have. So I have not read volume 2 yet, but God, I love this story. Okay. Next, I have another Kindle story, but this one is a story I read all of. This is the artwork. It says, the condemned villainess goes back in time and aims to become the ultimate villain. I really like this story. This one was an actual light novel, so like actual words. I forget. That one I know I bought. Did I buy the second one to read? No, not yet. Yeah, this one, once again, it's one of those other like redemption stories, and she had a lot of family issues, and she resolves most of those because there was a lot of misinterpretations in the past, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that one. I rated it 4 stars, and I finished that on August 28th. The next one I read was another shotgun one. It was Shotgun Divorce, I'll Get You Pregnant. I'll Get Pregnant and Out of Your Life as Soon as Possible, Volume 2. I rated it 3 stars. This is when I realized that that series definitely has some issues with the pacing and just too much of the one protagonist not communicating effectively to the other, where it's just like annoying. That's what that was. And then next was my did not finish, but I'm counting it as a read because of all the years I put through it. I started reading this item, I think it was, what is it? June 2017? No, June 2018. I started reading this item. And that was Lolita. And I marked it as do not read on October 14th. And yeah, I get that people read the classics to become better authors, but oh my god, in my opinion, it wasn't even good. I'm presuming now everything we know about the current political climate, it was deemed a credit because rich people like that. But the metaphors used and the obsessive descriptions of like stupid things. You don't have to describe a car passing the street in that much detail. There's no substance besides the fact that he likes minors. So I hate that I bought that book. I was so happy to get it out of my life. I rated it 1 star. My first book and did not finish. Not a good riddance. Next. As always, I went on my Christmas reading binge. Every year, Christmas to the end of the year, I just go on a reading binge to try to knock out as many books as I can. And this past year, I decided to solely focus on my mangas because I had so many of them, and I still have so many of them. So I just started knocking them out, and no regrets. I enjoyed it so much. So the first victim up to bat was Snow White with the Red Hair. So I read volume 10. I rated this 4 stars. I read volume 11. I also rated 4 stars. I read volume 12. I rated this one 5 stars. Not gonna lie, I don't remember entirely what happened in that one, but I liked it enough to rate it 5 stars. Volume 13, I rated 4 stars. Volume 14, I rated 4 stars. And then volume 15, I rated 5 stars. And then to end off the year, I finished Kakariko Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, volume 1. And I rated it 3 stars. Now, this one's an interesting one for me because I have kind of started collecting the series. However, I can't find volume 2 anywhere, so I just stopped. I have 1, 3, and 4. And this is a series that I watched the anime first, as always. I watched 2 whole seasons, and then it went on hiatus for almost 6 years. 7 years technically. And season 3 came out. Season 3 is a little bit jarring because they switched the art style, but I do really like this story. I definitely think I probably won't continue this series after I got volume 2, just to like complete the 4 I have, unless volume 3 and 4 like really suck me in, because the fact that they keep changing the art style disconnects it in my brain. So overall, those are all the books I read in 2025. I read obviously a lot of manga, and I don't regret it. Last year was pretty rough. Like I've been hinting at, there was a lot of issues. I was having a lot of issues with my mental health and fully not grieving properly, and it just piled and piled and piled and piled. And as you guys know, if you're a frequent-ish viewer, I like to try to understand why I do things to the possible amount. I dissect myself a lot. But I didn't dissect that one for a long time. Didn't know that was there. So it came to bite me in the butt. But as always, life moves on, and I am feeling a lot better. Actually, this time, I feel like I'm actually doing stuff to fix it. For example, this video. I've had this video in this bucket to film for literally since the end of December 2025. So I know I am a bucket person. That's that little ADHD in me. I need to be organized to a degree, and I like everything to have its place. But then I put stuff in buckets, and then I forget about the buckets. So to have a bucket clear and also be able to use it to help film videos and makeup videos again is going to be nice. I will probably end up doing a 6-month recap of books for 2026, but I don't think we'll do a quarterly one. We're too behind. I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, I'm happy I read. It does suck it wasn't 30, but I am very happy with the progress. And you know, technically reading 25 and then the one do not finish, that's good. Hit the same goal last year. My goal this year again is 30. And obviously we'll talk more about that when I do the 6-month video, but I'm very excited to see what happens in 2026. So let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. Bye.